Yes, 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 indeed. What's happening, everybody? How's everybody doing tonight? Let me get my applause for myself for my birthday show. I hate birthdays. I'm not even really looking forward to this. Uh, Being 53, if you figure out how old I'm going to be. It did say it on the picture for the live stream tonight. I had a Photoshop. That's actually a picture from 2 years ago, and I had to Photoshop the candle. It said 51 or something, and I had to make that one into a three, but it worked. But yeah, like the older I get, the more I don't care about birthdays. In fact, I always joke, hey, I'm going to become a Jehovah's Witness so they don't celebrate birthdays, and that sounds actually pretty awesome. If it was up to me, I would stay probably like 30 years old for the rest of my life. That was like probably the peak age for me. And my 30s were my favorite. I don't know about you guys. You could let me know. I'm going to head into the comments here to kick it off. Welcome, everybody. We got Kevin, 53. He got it. I know I titled this, What's My Age Again? Nobody likes you when you're 53. Let me see. Kevin, happy birthday, Eric. Well, thank you very much. And we got our buddy Jason Holstein. Always good to see you, my friend. He's wishing me a happy birthday as well. And Spicoli is
I
in
know
the
that,
house.
dude.
That's right. That is right.
Danger is my business.
Welcome back, Spicoli. He's all excited about the new channel. I know I'm going to be busy this whole next month adding all kinds of cool stuff to the Unleashed. And I hope you guys caught the latest video. Today I put out Road to Wisconsin Dells, which was from October of last year. I guess this would have been right before Blas Elias took off to do the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, which he does, of course, annually during the holidays. And Jimmy DeAnda came in to finish out the year, similar to what happened this year, except Jimmy DeAnda got his big ups and got to play with Warren and Carlos and the Piercy DiMartini, which really stoked for him. And believe it or not, his birthday is today, so I definitely want to give a shout out to Jimmy DeAnda. Fantastic drummer, awesome dude. I've always been a fan of the Bullet Boys back to when I was mowing Steven's lawn back when I was a kid. My Walkman, I definitely had the Bullet Boys tape. I was putting out some funny old kid photos today on Facebook, and this one was pretty good. This was definitely a holiday photo. I think we're definitely at my grandma's condo, and I'm definitely 16 here, like 15 or 16, and people were laughing at my hair. Everybody thought I looked like somebody famous, which I guess is cool. I heard everything from Steve Lukather. I'm gonna pull it up because there were some goofy ones. One of them kind of made me mad, and I'll tell you why in a second. But let me get over to my stuff here. Okay, let me look at these comments that they were leaving me today. Um, let me see. You look like Paul Langlois from Tragically Hip during the 80s and 90s. Same hair. I'm not sure I know what he looks like. Eric looking like he's ready to sing something by The Cure or something. What's another one I see here? Well, the one that kind of I wasn't sure how to take was from my friend Mel Wilson, who said, "Looks like Break My Stride era," and that kind of bummed me out. I was like, no, 1988 was not the Break My Stride era. I was all in on Metallica, and I did pull up another goofy. This is probably the most awkward photo that I'll ever share. You know when you hit that really dorky age, I'm guessing this must have been like my 14th or 15th birthday where you're still kind of going through your thing. But anyway, it is a birthday photo, but really bad mullet I have going there. I think my mom might have given me this haircut and it was not good. But you will see something very cool, and that is this Metallica T-shirt. And you could see down here it says "Damaged Justice." So if you know, you know. And looking back, I was just over my mom's house because we're having some family stuff going on. And while I was there, I was going through old albums going back from 1972, which was my birth year. And it's nostalgic. Have you guys done that? Like gone to your folks and gone through all the albums, and you're just like, wow, this is like an entire lifetime ago. And you get emotional a little bit. You know, you feel like that part of you doesn't even exist sometimes anymore. So many years have gone by, and so many changes, family members that aren't there anymore, friends that aren't there anymore. It's cool to see the pictures. You know, it takes me back. I really stare at it. Um, when I even like birthdays and holidays, if there's gifts and stuff in the background, I'll like zoom in to see if I could recognize the toy to take me back. But yeah, let me see here. What else we got going on? Is that Stony Jackson? Stony Jackson, happy birthday. I have a couple years on you. I started counting backwards. Well, that's an option. I mean, I guess if you're old enough, you know, if I started counting backwards, I would obviously make it to over 100. So that's probably true. Spicoli, gotta wear shades. Yeah, you know, I thought maybe I don't know if you guys are partying with me tonight, and I don't really drink that much anymore, but I found some of these. I got a couple fireballs. I did invite Chris Aiken. Honestly, I was gonna invite whoever I could. I was gonna invite all of the friends I knew that might be of interest, and I kind of got distracted and it didn't do that. In fact, Chris might not even get the email to come to this tonight. I think I gave it to him like 30 minutes ago. So hopefully he does show up at some point. But I thought it'd just be us tonight. I did grab a piece of cake, but could not find a candle. I could not find a candle. This is actually a piece of delicious cherry pie from last night. We went to my brother-in-law's family for Thanksgiving, and they do the best American traditional Thanksgiving. And as you guys know, if you've ever hosted a Thanksgiving dinner yourselves, it's a lot of work to cook all that stuff. Um, Susan's son was out here. As I mentioned last week, I did have a turkey to cook here because I don't want to be the guy that when I come over to your house, I eat like 3 mountain plates of food and then ask for a bunch to take with me. You know, I tried to make it, you know, a modest one plate kind of thing because back at home, I had earlier cooked a 23-pound turkey and with stuffing, all the trimmings, mashed potatoes, cranberry sauce. I think Susan made a salad and she made that sweet potato casserole with the marshmallows and stuff on it. So all the good stuff was there. And so today, you know, we're doing leftovers, as I'm sure a lot of you guys are as well. We got Lorraine in the house. Happy birthday, Eric. Well, thank you, thank you, thank you. It's nice to have friends here to kind of celebrate with. Eternal Servant, happy birthday. Thank you, Eternal Servant. I appreciate that. And thank you for coming back to the show. Appreciate you guys participating and making it a point on Friday nights to come in here and let's have our own gang that hangs out. Ted, happy birthday, Eric. Buy yourself another Charvel San Dimas. Okay, sir. Well, I do have 4 of those, but I mean, you can never say no to getting another guitar. Dale Groot, 72, 76. 55 in March. After you turn 21, who cares? Yeah, I mean, I'm going to have to agree with that. It didn't really bother me too much. The first scary birthday that I recall was 30. Uh, and of course, 27 was a thing because, you know, there's the 27 club. So if you're going to be like immortalized forever, you have to definitely get famous by 27. And unfortunately, you have to die by 27 to get into that club. But some, of course, iconic members in there: Jimi Hendrix, Jim Morrison. None of these people looked 27, by the way. All these people looked about 47, which is weird, still weird to me. But yeah, so I think it's time to have a little sip of Fireball before we go any further. Are you guys drinking at all? Anyone? Anyone? Um, Let me see here. I've got a super chat here that I have to just take a second to say hello to Marsha. Happy birthday. Have a breakfast sandwich on me. Like on you? Do you want me to like put a napkin on your butt and lay the sandwich? No, I'm just kidding. That's terrible. See, that's what happens when I drink. I say dirty things, so that's why I've just the older I get, that's not appropriate. Like I feel like when you're younger, you could say dirty stuff all the time. They're like, haha, he's cute. Same goes for getting sloppy, you know. Sloppy drunk when you're at those like jackass years, like up into your late 20s maybe it's acceptable and it's cute and people take care of you and you wake up and somebody has a blanket on you and so forth. But I think after age 30, you just become annoying and people stop inviting you because you're sloppy and you're drooling all over yourself and nobody knows what you're saying. And you definitely do not want to be that guy. But back to the age thing. 27, also as a professional, as a guitarist, the time is ticking because you know any like big opportunities are going to come when you're at a young age where these corporate people can exploit you for the longest time and get the biggest ROI, return on their investments. So the younger you are, the bigger that somebody's going to come in and groom you for a big success. As you get into your 20s, you better get better at songwriting because they're going to start considering you to be close to aging out as far as what they're looking to invest in. Um, and 30, as far as I remember in the 90s, I turned 18 in 1990, but I knew 30 was going to be kind of the cutoff for me. I've talked about this before, but in my mind, I was making a push. But if things didn't happen for me by 30, I was definitely going to probably take some kind of classes or something to get some kind of job that paid decent. But as far as like what it takes for what I thought it would take for me to make it would require a significant amount of my time that if I put it into some cush job, you know, serious career job, I thought that I would not pursue music at the same time. So I just worked crappy jobs and kind of starved for a lot of years. Uh, John Levin, do you guys know John Levin who plays in Dawkins? He shows you the what I could have been. Not that I wanted to be a lawyer, but he is pretty impressive. Like not only is he a phenomenal guitarist, but he's a lawyer. He's like a full blown entertainment attorney. So he was able to go pursue a law degree and still make it as like a rock guitarist at the same time. So that was impressive. But back then, I thought it was pretty much going to be over if I didn't go all in before 30. And the bands I was in were starting to fade. Like my first band, VooDoo, that was everything to me. After about 5 years, the older guys in the band started going on to their kind of careers. They were hitting, you know, 29 and 30, where I was only like 18 and 19, and I was still all in and excited about our first band. But they were more realistic and mature, and then it starts turning into the Brian Adams Summer '69 song. Jody quit, and somebody got married, and whatever. The band ends. But yeah, so moving forward, I mean, I had some a songwriter buddy I wrote songs with for a while, and was we were kind of getting our own sound together. We were going to try to put out some poppy songs that we thought mainstream people our age would like, and that was starting to get going. And then I joined 13A, which if you look up that band, 13A, no digital, no machine, we were like a heavy, almost, I guess you could say, new metal or screamo, kind of right at the beginning of the screamo thing. Like Slipknot was, this was like the late 90s, and Slipknot had just become a thing, and Ozfest was a big thing going on. at the time. And that band won the Miller Genuine Draft Battle of the Bands here. And we won $10,000, which back then was pretty significant amount of money. So it was promising, even though I didn't have too much to do. We had been working on an album for 13A, but we didn't ever end up releasing it. The band broke up. And when I had joined, we were just playing their previous two albums. So I love those guys, and we partied so hard. We have like right across from the Brick by Brick. If anybody's been to San Diego to the Brick by Brick off SeaWorld Drive, down the alley across from the Brick by Brick was our jam room, and it was like just this metal rehearsal space that 13A had, and we rehearsed, I'd say, like at least 3 or 4 nights a week. We were in our 20s, and that place was just like our party pad. We binge drank every night, smoked weed. And our drummer Mike stayed there a lot. And what's interesting is he was the drummer in Asphalt Ballet. He's still there. He's still there recording all these years later, 30 something years later. Mike is still there. So that place still does exist, which is pretty cool. And if we ever do another reunion show or something, that's usually what we do, go rehearse over his place. And then our whole gang of friends that we had from back then, our whole entourage of metalheads, accompany us down from our jam room where we're all partying and just walk down to the Brick by Brick and take it over. And it's always a good time. I don't think we've done that for about 5 or 6 years, but hopefully we will again at some point. But moving forward, Stephen Pearcy hit me up 2001, and the rest is history there. Just that was pretty much the only gig I kind of needed in my mind. And been doing it ever since, 25 years. Of course, there's always some slower years when he's done reunions with the RATT guys. So it's not the first time that I've had to you know, do other things. But what's cool now, being the age I am, is that I have more experience and I could do studio production. And I'm also, as you guys know, playing in the project with James Davis and Dennis Hill. And that's a great band, and I'm very much looking forward to recording these songs we've been writing and doing videos to put out. So you guys will be seeing this. It's going pretty quickly, so I would imagine, right at the beginning of the year, I'll be releasing songs for that. So I'm not gonna fade away by any stretch at all. So I just want everybody to
relax. All right. What are you people? On dope?
Well, let's find out. Is that my buddy Black Phillip? Let me see. Black Phillip. I'll be 46 in January, so I'm officially on the wrong side of 40. Oh, well. What was the roughest year for you guys, would you say? Like, what was the birthday that hit you the hardest? I would imagine most people watching me are around my age, so I guess we're probably going to have a similar ages that we say. I don't think I have any 90-year-olds here. They're going to be like, 85. 85 was the bad one for me. We got here John Evans, 1969. Happy birthday, buddy. Well, thank you, sir. I'm going to take a sip, just a sip of this Fireball in appreciation for your nice birthday wishes. Let me see here. Russell's saying 30. I don't know. You're not saying you're 30. Was that a rough year for you when you turned 30? Because I was depressed about that. I remember. I was like, man, 30. That's old. I'm always going to throw out old movies that we saw as kids, but do you remember that movie, The World According to Garp? That had Robin Williams in it. It was a really weird movie. But I remember even Robin Williams was like totally bummed out that he was going to be turning 30. And he was like hanging out with the babysitter or somebody. And he was like, yeah. She's like, how old are you anyway? And she was like younger than him. And he's like, I'm going to be 30. And she's all, dirty 30. And I remember at the time I was seeing that, I was probably only like 11. So I didn't really, I mean, I got what that probably meant, but I didn't really know exactly what that was going to mean. Because, wow. Yeah, that's pretty accurate. Dirty 30. I mean, you kind of have your shit together by your 30s. You have you have your style finally together, and you got a decent job, and you got cool friends, and I don't know, you're just partying and having fun. I mean, I raged when I was in my 30s. We were out playing a lot, and probably looked my coolest naturally anyway. I don't have any real intentions of doing any plastic weird surgery or anything. I mean, I don't know. I kind of believe that you can continue to perform for your own people. You know what I mean? And we just kind of age together. I realize that there's going to be expectations on any performer to kind of keep themselves in a little bit better shape, in a role model perhaps kind of way, and that's fine. I mean, as I said, after the show tonight, I am going to totally do my workout because I didn't do it today. And as I told you guys, I'm fully serious. I've been doing an hour a day. Today will be day 6 of getting on the elliptical machine, which is like I do a mountain peak thing. And I've been hitting it a full hour. I mean, by about a half hour in, I'm just like a faucet, just dripping sweat. So I'm thinking I'm already seeing some results, but I think by about 30 days of doing that, I'm gonna be like Bruce Lee. Wow. I don't know, but let me see here. What else did I have to mention? Now, did you guys watch my road to Wisconsin Dells tonight? That was like a little surprise bonus I threw out today. I was like, I don't want to seem like I'm coming on here or some kind of birthday goofy, whatever, um, busking event or something. I'm going to be here every Friday, so I just thought, what am I going to call this one? And since I'm not doing anything this weekend, I go, we'll just call it the birthday thing. But I was going to be here anyways. That's all I'm saying. Now, did I read Mike Crawford's question? I just turned 50. Was pretty tough. Happy birthday, Eric. Yeah, my 50th birthday wasn't good. Wasn't good either, man. I mean, honestly, I think I said something about it last week where we had that jerk from the harbor that came over and accused me of being a Trump person and got all got drunk and political here, and um, got really smug and said that the climate change was coming and the ocean was going to rise and they were going to move the coast highway and all this goofy stuff. And he ruined my freaking 50th birthday with that bullshit. Anyways, Slurry God Garp and the coasting down the hill with the lights off classic scene. Yeah, that messed me up, and I'm kind of willing to guess it messed you up as well. And if you haven't seen the movie, Robin Williams is having an affair with this. If I recall, it was the babysitter, but he would drive the babysitter home, and um, at one point he was getting a BJ or something. Or no, I know what it was. He was coasting with all the lights on and he ended up hitting a car and she bit somebody's wiener off or something like that. I can't remember if it was his. Was it his Robin Williams wiener that got bit or was it somebody else's? It's been so long since I've seen that weird movie. The 80s had such weird movies that we probably all shouldn't have watched. I mean, even from my experiences I've been sharing as a kid, they all seem like they were inspired from movies. Risky Business. I was stealing my dad's car. Uh, that was something I did. Black Phillip 40 was rough, I guess, but it didn't really sink in till about 43. My daughter was born when I was 29, so thankfully 30 came and went without me really noticing due to being busy with her. Whoa, what do we have going on here? Bob C. Aw, my better half, Bootsy, says age is only a number. She is doing much better now. So next time you're in the Dells, we will be there. Oh, that is so sweet. I just got chills. Thank you so much. That is so awesome. I love Bob. He's always been a cool supporter. And he gets a kick out of my personal life, which I was just kind of started to share, but I'll be honest, Susan's not an attention whore like I am. You know what I mean? So expecting her to get into this, YouTube world isn't realistic, and just being in a band is hard enough on a relationship, to be honest. Just from the traveling alone. I mean, last year I was gone like at least almost half the year just between flights and playing gigs. Just for one show you're gone 3 days, and there was times where we had multiple gigs in a week and you're gone for a week, and it's a stress. So the last thing I think she wants to do is get sucked into this world, and I always have to be respectful of what I say, because you never know when she might tune in, or she might be in the other room and I might say something that I'm gonna regret, and I do not want to do that. I like where we live. We have a awesome condo that we split together. We're actually like really cool friends too. You know what I mean? We're like companions through the pandemic. We met 2020, and we've managed to survive it all. And 5 years later, we're still living at the same place. I've always had my own room, and I don't know how you guys feel about that. I think in a relationship, you should at least have some kind of office that you could retreat to if necessary, that does have some kind of thing you could sleep on. Because probably one of the worst things is if you're having a bad fight, and I would imagine you're in some one bedroom apartment and you have to like sleep in a bed together, and it's like, and you're like building a wall of pillows to like, don't cross my middle lane. You know, we've all been there, right? Um, Let me see here. Garp's wife was cheating on him. God, that's right. And that was really rough to watch. Poor Garp. What kind of name is that anyway? Garp? Ugh. Slurry God. It was his wife who bit her boyfriend's cock off. Well, you just had to get that word in there. There goes our crayon commercials. Steve, he's saying when turning 50, he realized he was officially old. Yeah, I mean, it's yeah, I can't hide it. You know what I mean? I feel that for a long time I was a lucky guy that looked at least 10 years younger than a lot of people my age, or 10 years younger than my age, pretty consistently in my life. But there is like some kind of biomarkers that you hit like after 50, that without getting Botox or mini facelifts or something drastic, you just really can't hide it. But I don't know, man. Uh, I'm okay with being real, and on my personal fan base kind of looks like me. We're all kind of around the same age. I mean, I think it's like 45 to 60. Maybe we got a couple older people than that, but I mean, I'm not trying to sell records to 12-year-olds. You know what I mean? That's creepy. The people that are probably going to dig me the most are people my own age, and I'm okay with that. I'll try to stay in as good a shape as I can and be as presentable as possible. But yeah, I'm starting to get the crow's feet, and um, hence the shades today. I don't know how I was going to look, but if I'm like partying and stuff, I thought I better keep the shades on today. Um, Let me see. Caribou. Good to see you, Eric. Well, it's great to see all of you as well. But yeah, Wisconsin Dells, it takes me back. I got a bunch of these road videos, and would forget all about this if it wasn't for revamping these and putting them up on here. I would forget going to a lot of these towns. It's all very similar. I mean, if once you watch a couple of them, it's the headed to the same San Diego airport, and going to the same hotels and going to the same sound checks and going to the same backstages and playing the same songs and packing the same stuff up and going back to the same place after. It's just I've referred to it as Groundhog Day, which I'm sure a lot of my comrades out there feel the same way about it. And it's hard to be healthy out there, too. It's the guys that have been doing it a long time do have it figured out. Those guys that have never fallen off or taken a break, that have just kind of played this whole time, the extremes and whatever, bands like that just, probably none of them, drink or anything really. That's just like 80s burnout people did that. My favorite 80s movie was Weird Science, especially the scene playing Wanted Man. That is pretty badass. Man, Steven is super stoked and fortunate that so many Rat songs have ended up in movies. Can you guys name all the movies that have had Rat songs in them? I know The Golden Child had a couple songs in there. Body Talk comes to mind. Um, have you guys seen the movie The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke? If you ever watch The Wrestler, you can actually hear me on there playing those Rat songs because it was from the Cleopatra cover record, the Mickey Rat Cleopatra thing we did that had George Lynch playing leads on it and Tracy Guns and some other people, Mark Zavon. And I did all the rhythm guitars and a few of the solos. I was pretty new in the band still. It came out a long time ago. But I remember Cleopatra was approached by this indie movie company about licensing out, some Rat songs, but they didn't want to pay for the originals, and Cleopatra arranged some kind of deal with them, and guess how much money that they licensed out the songs for the Wrestler from the Stephen Pearcy band. Well, I will tell you. Wait, let me get my assets here and get down to where's my oh yeah, thank you. Let's slow it down. $5,000. Yeah, $5,000, and this movie ended up, I think, getting not a Golden Globe, but I don't know, something. I don't know if it was an Academy Award. Maybe it got something, but it really exceeded expectations as far as the budget. They didn't really spend all that much money making The Wrestler, and it was a really good movie if you hadn't seen it. And it's cool. You can hear me on some of the stuff like Lay It Down or whatever songs. You can hear my voice singing some of the background stuff. But when the Rat guys got wind that this was going on, they flipped out. They flipped out and they demanded. They demanded that the original versions went on the soundtrack. So if you end up buying the soundtrack for The Wrestler, you'll get the actual Rat versions on there. But if you watch the movie itself, you'll hear our versions in there. So
You dick!
no, it's all good. It's fine. Here's another cool photo since we're talking presents and birthdays. This is another photo that I put up. I'd say I'm probably about 12 here. But this is the G.I. Joe Dragonfly copter. And this was cool. I was all in on G.I. Joe for a bit there. I went from Star Wars to G.I. Joe. 77 when Star Wars came out, I was 5, and I was all in for 5 years on Star Wars, had all that stuff. And then when right around the time we're moving to California, 1980 or 81 was when I got my first the smaller GI Joes, not the ones my dad had. My dad had some of the big tall ones and stuff from the 60s. But the Hasbro, when they started releasing these ones, I got all these. I had such a huge collection of GI Joe stuff, and I was always just in my own world. When it came to stuff like that, Star Wars or GI Joe, there wasn't anybody that I was able to play that stuff with. As far as nobody had the imagination I did, and nobody came up with dialogue, and nobody took the time to set up these missions and stuff. And I don't know. So it seemed whenever I tried to play with toys with other kids, they were lame about it. They would just come in, they'd be like, "You're dead," and you're like, "You know what? I think you need to leave." And then I would just kind of have my own thing, and all my little dudes would have their relationships. And God, I felt you'd really feel bad for the couple female GI Joes that there was. Scarlet, CoverGirl, they serviced not only all the GI Joe guys, that they had to have sex with all the GI Joe guys, but they would often get captured by Cobra. And you don't want to know what the Cobra guys were wasn't good. But did you guys have? Did your toys? Did you have them do sexual things to each other? I always did that. I don't know why. I would always like take their clothes off and see what they had going on underneath.
Danger is my business.
Anyways, oh wait, let me remove that.
Relax. All right?
All right. Well, if you insist, I'll relax. Happy birthday from AZ from Rico. Is that a George Lynch guitar, Rico, in your photo? I love George Lynch. One thing that's cool, as you guys know, I'm working on the new Stephen Pearcy record and getting all the songs on there, and he's working to like get some guest people on there, and he did mention Jakey Lee, and that would be pretty dope. But the other one, I told him George Lynch because that's not the first time. That's not the first time that George Lynch has played. When we did that Mickey Rat record, he did solos on like 5 of those songs on there, and his solo work on there is so awesome. I love his tone he had, and he didn't play any of the leads the way they went. He just freestyled his own George Lynch thing, and I remember thinking that was the most cool ass thing in the world I had done up to date, because I wasn't so much a Dokken fan as I was a George Lynch fan. His guitar playing just totally spoke to me, his solos and everything. And of course, MTV, watching the Nightmare on Elm Street, Dream Warriors, all that stuff. I just thought he was incredible, kind of untouchable in a lot of ways, and very unique. And so the years later when he came in and just like, Steven's like, yeah, George Lynch is going to come in and play some stuff. And Matt knows him. Matt's known George a long time. They've known each other forever. He's like, yeah, George is going to come in. And Matt edited up some of his leads and got him on there. And I'm still like blown away and very proud to have been a part of that. Some of that stuff's on here on the channel. If you go down on my videos, there's a song Rat Madness that I put together, like a little montage of photos. I did that video a long time ago when I really didn't know too much about video editing. There's a couple videos that you'll find on here that I put out like 10 years ago. One that's actually a really cool song you guys should check out tonight is a song called One More Time. Just One More Time. And there's a video for that. It's on my channel. I put it up there 10 years ago, forgot all about it. It's got 20,000 views on it. But it would be cool if it got, I don't know, re-energized, if you guys shared it around or something. It does have the late Chris Hager in there. And Chris plays on like specifically the intro of the song. He's doing like the whammy bar thing in the beginning and that kind of Aerosmithy. He's like doing that part, and then you don't hear him again after the song kind of kicks in. But it was cool. He was up there. He was in the band at the time. This was like 2015. We had Chris. We had Greg D'Angelo, the drummer for White Lion, in the band, and Matt was on bass at the time. Yeah. So, anyways, check that song out and share it. Like any of the stuff on here, I'd be so stoked because I'm a small new channel. So if it's gonna get any bigger, it's not gonna be without help from you guys. So if you see some cool, rare videos on my channel that you want to share, go ahead. Do it up. I appreciate it. And invite your friends to the live hangs. And if you think they would get a kick out of the road videos, send it to them so they can check it out. Because when we do these on Friday nights, these hangouts, the more the merrier, I say. What else we got here? Have you ever spotted the metal god Mr. Rob Halford in SD? No, I can't say that I have, but he was like the grand wizard for the gay parade that would happen in Hillcrest. I don't know if he still does that, but I guess if I had to like find a day I know he's gonna be there, and I'm going to find him. That would probably be it when they do their whatever gay parade. We have this one area of San Diego that for as long as I can remember has always been kind of zoned as the gay part of town, and it's Hillcrest in San Diego. And then there's North Park, which is like kind of attached, and that's just if you're cool with those people, but you're not maybe them, you live in North Park. But The coolest thing about Hillcrest, if you've ever been to San Diego, and North Park, they have some really cool bars there, and they're very they have some gay bars there, but those bars like have the best drink specials, and I don't know, they probably rage the hardest there. I can remember when we were looking for cheap places to go, I would go with a girl I was dating back then, and we would, because you know, it's not like they tell you you have to be gay to come in there. I mean, they still let anybody go, and they of course have hetero friends that show up to party with them and everything. But that was just a late '90s memory. I don't know. I'm assuming it's still the same way there. They also they had it used to be a Walmart down there, and they have like a makeshift sign in the window that used to say "Gay Mart." So that was kind of funny little memory I just unlocked on myself. But no, never met. You know, when I did meet Rob Halford, as I have met him, was when he had the band Fight with Satchel. Remember, Satchel played in Fight, and on one of the Rock 102 birthday bashes in the mid '90s, I think it was at the Starlight Bowl. Um, the band I was in, VooDoo, was asked to pretty much open most of the big radio shows that happened in the '90s. We were the band that they would put on the bill, and our dressing room turned into Rob Halford's dressing room. So when we had this dressing room, and then we went and played, and when we came back off stage, he was sitting in there, and he was super nice. He was just super chill. I remember I grabbed like 4 beers out of his backstage, and I was like, "Hey, thanks, man," and just kind of walked out of there. Um, Ted saying Point Break, yeah. As far as movies that had rat songs, the most recent one is F1 with Brad Pitt. They have Round and Round, but the television shows, Netflix shows, Stranger Things recently had Rat on there. Um, yeah, there's even more movies too. Happy birthday from Arizona, Rico. I might have read that one already. Caribou. Hey everyone, don't forget to rock that thumbs up. That's always good. It doesn't hurt to have a bunch of thumbs up on my stuff. One thing I don't want is if there's a thumbs down button, don't hit that one. That's the only one I don't want. Nobody rides for free. Well, that one's we do play that. We've been playing that for a couple years in the solo band. It's tough. That's a tough one to kind of do. It's got a lot of dynamics in it, and a lot of parts. Um, the vocals are kind of tough. Hello from Italy, Furbo825. Thank you, sir. Well, hello, and appreciate you being here. Skylar, how was everyone's Turkey Day? Yeah, how was everyone's Turkey Day? Talk amongst yourselves while I have some Fireball here. I haven't even barely had any of this. I feel like I've had like nine of these, and I've barely taken a sip. I don't want to get too stupid too quick. Um, okay, let me see here. We got a lot of people here tonight. John Evans, yeah, love the wrestler movie. Very real, truthful look at what happens behind the scenes. Yeah, you know, that movie came out a long time ago too, right? You know, it was probably 2004 or something maybe. Um, and I recall right around that time we were playing on the East Coast, and I actually tour managed the band for many years in the Stephen Pearcy band. I always did whatever I could to help take the financial weight off of Stephen. I tried to be pretty irreplaceable, as much as I could, leading up to probably 2016, where I tour managed, drove, booked plane tickets, played the shows, got whatever band members we had. I was like the music director that would make sure whatever guys we had were all on the same page. And I didn't get much extra for it. Honestly, I was a bad negotiator, but I really just wanted us to succeed, and I think I just asked him for like an extra $100 a show, and that was it. That's all I got for a very long time. And something had transpired when we were playing in Pennsylvania around 2016. We were playing a Buckety club there, and I remember as a tour manager, I was having trouble getting a hold of them, and they were just a little shady. And we had barely a backstage. They didn't even have water for us. They were very like, it was a very disrespectful showing for them. Not to say that there was, maybe it was a ticket sale issue or something. They just kind of went, yeah, whatever. Um, but I was just stressed out from dealing with the venue and the show itself. I think there was a couple technical things that went wrong. And then after the show, I was getting my stuff, and these local guys from PA. Now, dudes from PA, that's where like the jackass people are like originally from and stuff. So it's pretty common to have like, that dudes in their 30s are going to be jackasses and, drink too much and say stupid shit. And this one, this one guy was like, he was standing in front. The show was over. The show was over. Most everyone had left, and I was going out there to go get my pedal board and stuff. And I'm getting my pedal board, and this dude's like standing right in front of the stage, in front of the pedal board. He's all, "One more song, one more song," and I go, "Hey, we're done." And then I just like turned around and like took my pedal board and walked behind the amps or whatever. And he like takes a second. He was like quiet for like a second, but then he goes, you know, my band would have played another song, and then he calls me the F word, and
Those guys are fags.
yeah, and I don't know, when he said that, I had already had this like such a rough day, and I do try to exercise patience, but just all this shit that had gone wrong that day, I just was so mad. I like looked over at him, and when he said that, I go, you know what? Here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna do a running jump off this stage, and I'm gonna do a flying punch where I basically leap as high as I can off the stage, and then I'm gonna come down, and I'm just gonna punch him right in the face, and then I'm gonna just beat his ass. And I didn't even like think about it like further than that. Like I was just I actually have always, I'm on blood pressure medication now, but back then not so much, and I just was like, I had a lot of anxiety, and I don't know, so I didn't like take the thoughts further than that, or what bad things could come of that. I was just like, this dude's getting a fucking beat down. And so sure enough, I go, okay, here we go. And I had envisioned it, ahead of time. Okay, I'm going to run, I'm going to jump. And it did kind of go like that. I do remember I caught some pretty good air, and everybody just kind of looked over like, what's coming at us? And I jumped in the air, and I came down with the punch, but without having ever practiced that move for a movie or a stunt thing or anything, my balance was a little off. So I did come down. I connected with him, not. I kind of slid off. It kind of slid off the side of his head, and then I kind of fell down a little bit. I was like, poof. I kind of got down, but then I got back up, and I heard Chris Hagar go, "Erik, no!" And then I just went up and just did the hockey move where you pull the shirt over their head. And I pulled his shirt over his head, and I just was bashing him. And then the security came over, and they were gonna rough me up. They go, "Oh, I see what you got here. It looks like we're gonna have to take you outside." And I was like, "Oh." And then I, like, soon as that adrenaline kind of left, and these bigger dudes were like hanging on to me, I was like, "Ooh, I better turn on the charm here." And, I go, "Oh," or you could take me backstage. And they're like, and they looked, and they're like, "Oh, you're the freaking guy that was just up there." And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, that's me." And they're like, "Okay." And then they took me up there. But after this situation happened, Greg D'Angelo saw an opportunity to say, "Hey, your guy's a freaking liability, and you should let me tour manage." And basically I got relieved of the duty. And had I been paid more for it or whatever, maybe I would have held it together longer. I don't know, but I don't know, sometimes you're going to lose it. I've been doing the job for years, and it was just a bad day, and this was a different time. This was, I mean, things have gotten we're getting better in leading up to 2020. Shows were starting to do better, but really I think the best it's been with concerts and 80s rock has been in the last 4 years. Has been really good for a lot of those bands, and all these cruises going on and festivals that still happen. It's been, some of these bands are getting more money now than they've ever gotten. in their lives. Maybe it's because it's at the end and it's going out with a big bang. You know, that's cool too. But
What are you people? On dope?
speaking of interesting gifts, I came across this today. We had this on here. So this is from the Paunch collection, but Erik Estrada is signing California Highway Patrol full-size helmets, like full legit Highway Patrol helmets, and he's signing it Erik Estrada Paunch, and he's getting $400 for it. I don't know how much buying a replica helmet would be plus his autograph on there, but I don't know. You could probably get a helmet like that for $100, and then he's probably making a good $300 off signing those. But I saw a lot of people in the comments were all excited about it. It's been so long since Chips was on, but it was such a phenomenon back then in the late '70s. I remember when I was a kid, I used to love when it would come on, the boom, 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 doom, 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 ba 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 da 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 da. And I was like, yeah, and he was pretty good on the show, I guess. But it just never happened for him. I mean, I know he probably did Love Boat and had some cameos, but Erik Estrada never really busted out after the show, and that he was just Paunch for life. I'm pretty sure he actually became a police officer. You know, I've been looking at this cherry pie this whole time, and man, it looks so good. I can't, you know me. I've been smoking all day, and this just looks good, man. Hold on. Ugh. Hitting the gym later.
Danger is my business.
I'm all over the place tonight, but I want to pull up another young photo today. Anyways, this is me Christmas time doing holiday photos tonight. But if you take a look in that stocking, there's something that's actually very valuable there. And if you're a fan of Star Wars, you might know what that is. It is the first Star Wars comic book that Marvel put out. It was a full-size comic book. It was really big. And one thing that was weird about the whole Star Wars franchise and all the toys, they had a lot of script changes and stuff. Like they were getting the whole toy launch together leading up to the movie coming out, and I think they were making changes on Star Wars like right up until the last minute. So some of the toys had the wrong hair colors and the wrong outfits, and I'm sure this first comic book had been ready to go for probably 2 years beforehand. And it's like, you know, I think Luke had the wrong color hair, and I recall being this age, whatever I was, 5 years old, taking some of my magic markers and going, this is the right kind of hair color. And I would like paint in the right hair color on it. I'm trying to like get onto eBay right now. Hold on. Let me look up. I'll just type in my app because, of course, when I need to get it fast, my eyes can't focus in on it. I'm going to look up for the first Star Wars comic book and see what they're going for right now. First Star Wars comic book. Let's see. Yep. Okay. What are you guys guessing that Star Wars is worth? It says here, Star Wars #1, first app of Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, 1977, $400. I'm seeing. That is worth $400. I thought it would actually be worth a little more. I think comic books just aren't going for what they used to. But this comic book was just another thing that my parents ended up getting rid of at the garage sale. If you've heard me tell the story, it was we lived in New Jersey, and they just surprised me one day. I had all these awesome toys and shit, and they were holding this garage sale, and they were selling all my shit. And I came out, I was like, what the hell's going on? They're like, yeah, we're moving. We're in New Jersey. My mom has a Jersey accent. She's like, yeah, listen up. we're moving, so go say goodbye to your friends. And I was like, what the F? And they were just at a garage sale, and they were just selling my stuff. And I remember freaking out, like pulling toys out of strangers' hands, going, no, not my Tron, or not my Battlestar Galactica ships. Not my Evil Knievel's. My uncle worked for Ideal Toys, and I used to get a lot of awesome toys from my Uncle Eddie. And I had all the Evil Knievel's. I mean, everything Ideal made, from the Evil Knievel's to board games to electronic games and stuff, to all the Rubik's Cubes and all that stuff. He'd just always give me that. It was so awesome. I had certain family members that I just always know when I would see them on a holiday or something that they had something for me,
Who's got the Buku Dolores today?
I knew I would just get excited. I remember we had a friend, some coworker of my dad's that would come over sometimes. I knew they had some kind of drugstore, and they had G.I. Joe comic books. And when they would show up, I knew I was getting a G.I. Joe comic book. I'd be super excited about it. But yeah, my uncle, I knew whenever I saw him, he would have something. You guys remember Evil Knievel, but they had like spin-off toys too. There was like an Evil Knievel that was all black. He was like in all black leather, and he was supposed to be like another bad guy. I remember I came over and my uncle was showing it to me. He's all, check this out. This one's going to be called the Midnight Marauder. And I was like, oh shit, that's cool, man. What else did I have? I don't know. Did you guys have Alien? I had the big Alien. That was something I didn't let them take from me. I took the Alien because that thing was sick. It was like, it didn't really do too much. It was like probably this high, and you could put it under a lamp, and it had the glow in the dark cranium. So I loved anything that was glow in the dark. I always loved that. Like, because I hated going to bed. I never wanted to go to bed at night as a kid, but when all your toys would light up, when the lights would go out, I always thought that was sick. I had the big Alien that glowed in the dark. All my Tron dudes, I think, glowed in the dark. Did you guys have any glow in the dark toys, or am I a weirdo? What do we got here, Tom? Are chord tones more important than scales? Yeah, I would say so. I would definitely say so. I mean, but what are you trying to achieve as a guitarist or a musician? I mean, if you're, I wouldn't scare anybody away from learning an instrument that maybe is never going to be the next Yngwie Malmsteen, because even learning a couple cowboy chords can be entertaining and fulfilling. When I started out playing guitar, if I was able to like learn a song and play it, I mean, that was a lot of fun. And I think it's good exercise for your eye-hand coordination and keep your brain working. And everybody should play a musical instrument. I feel like all around, people used to be way more talented, like up until the 50s. Like the baby boomers were like the last multi-talented people back then. Hopefully that changes, and maybe one of these newer, younger generations are actually multi-talented too. But I felt like specifically in school back then, they totally had music class, and everybody, made it to more, math classes, more complicated math classes, and they took multiple languages and things like that you just don't see happening as much anymore. Like school, I mean, school for me was a joke. I ain't gonna lie. It was a joke. What do we got here? Y'all ever do Way Cool Junior live? I was like 8 or 9 at the time, so Reach for the Sky was my intro to RATT. Right, and that's my intro to Stephen Pearcy as a person was like around that time. And I was, young. If you were, watching the show earlier, when I was this age, this young, Stephen Pearcy moved in across the street from my dad here and my sister and our little Shih Tzu dog there. Moved in across the street in like, I don't know, 1987 or 88, like right before Reach for the Sky came out. His house was right across, our garages looked at each other. I think on the last
Hangout, I might have even shown that to you guys, right? I recently um, went back to the neighborhood and I took some footage. They were probably wondering who this weirdo is that was like out front filming this house. But Steven had the dopest house. You have to like look at it. It's it looks like a castle. Um, but anyways, this was around that time. I guess I got lost there looking into that. But I did see. Let me see here. I want to see a nice going the wrong way on the notes. Going the wrong way, and I need to go the right. Oh, okay. That's what I thought I saw. The project in the house. Thank you so much. Thank you, James Davis. James is hard at work learning the harmony solos to some of the songs, because Dennis Hill is like focusing on singing and stuff, and it would be easier for him if James here picked up some of the slack so he could focus on singing. And so we figured out what the harmony parts are, and he's learning like I guess the lower harmonies, and I'm going to do the higher harmonies. That's one. I mean, we do have a punk rock edge in the project band, but we are like including some of the double solo stuff. We just think it's kind of cool, you know. And I'm even doing like with slide guitar, like harmony slide stuff, where I'll do a low harmony with the slide too. So we're branching out. This is fulfilling for me to play different kinds of music. Of course, I love doing the 80s rock, and it's been phenomenal to play for Stephen. Of course, the same songs, right, for so many years, but having a great time playing with the project. And we're about to get serious. Like, it was announced to me, like, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we have an agent now, and they also represent Bad Marriage. You guys know Bad Marriage, right, Fitzy? They've done Monsters of Rock cruises, and they're a great rock band. And they also have Tommy Skio from Tesla plays in Bad Marriage, and I always loved him. And I get it. I get that for whatever reason they've moved on, Tesla. And I got to interview Frank Hannon. I totally made an ass of myself on the Chris Aiken show interviewing him, because I was kind of made it about me, and I was sharing my Tesla memories of seeing them open for Def Leppard on the In the Round tour, and how excited I was to see him and Tommy play guitar in that. And at some point he kind of was just like, our guy's been in our band for like 20 years, and I was like, oh, sorry, I just didn't notice, but he is really good. The guy that Tesla has, Dave Rude, he's a rude guitar player. No, he's really freaking good. He makes it look really easy. He's one of those guys who just makes it look super easy. But I'm glad to see that he's still out there. Tommy's still playing. But James, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Happy birthday, Rockstar. Like I said, I've known James for, I feel like, definitely over 20 years now, and we just keep crossing paths in our lives, and it's just a cool thing, man. And him and I both have like a good feeling about this project, that like one of these songs we're gonna do is gonna break out somehow, just because it's good. I mean, it's on the lines of like Tom Petty, or that kind of rock. I don't like to use the word pop, but radio rock, music that I'm super proud to be a part of with this. But thank you so much, my friend. Steven, hey, Eric, big fan. Is there that one Rat song you wish you guys played live? Yeah. What we were playing some ones that I liked. In Your Direction's a pretty badass song, and we were playing it. I don't know what happened. We stopped playing it. I'm not sure why. I don't know why that was, but I think In Your Direction's pretty awesome. Let me see here. Get to everybody. Thomas Bailey. Double guitar solos are awesome. Tesla does some good ones. They did. They were big fans of Rat. Gosh, I remember we did one of the years that we did Monsters of Rock cruise. Frank, it was after I did that stupid interview. I saw him, and he was cool to me. He's just one of those. All the guys in Tesla are just super professional dudes that are just nice to everybody, and they're all really hippies. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, and they just get along with everybody, and they're those musicians that just support each other. And but he was nice to me. I make a bigger deal about it in my head than it probably was, but because of that interview, I don't think I ever did any more interviews on the Chris Aiken Presents. I got like my interview card pulled or something, and then we just stopped doing interviews. And I don't know if I'm really gonna do that here. I'm not really an interview guy. I'm I don't have the time to research people very well, and I don't know. I can talk my ass off though, so I figure you guys always have me here talking a mile a minute. Cajun Hog, happy birthday, Eric. Well, thank you, Cajun Hog. Thomas Bailey. Tommy Skio just kind of went too hard, but he's great. Fave Rude is fit and replacement though. He is. He's doing good. And now they don't have Troy Laketta on drums, but they have Wild Mick Brown's brother playing in the band, which is interesting. He seems to fit in pretty well with that. I realize now how stoked anybody would be to land a gig with one of these staple bands, just iconic bands you'll always have a gig, as long as their singers can still pull it off. These guys just play all year long, and what a great gig to get. Dave, okay, yeah, we know who you meant. Jeff, yo, Eric, it's J-Rad 7080 from Kappa Frightbite. Happy fucking birthday. Well, thank you so much, J-Rad. I'm happy you're here, dude. And I was considering trying to do a Frightbite tomorrow, because I do have StreamYard. Usually Chris runs that, and Chris couldn't do a Frightbite this week for this month, and I was like, sheesh. So I was considering maybe having something tomorrow, maybe a Frightbite. If I do, you'll know pretty early in the day, because I'll make a flyer for it. But anyway, good to see you, J-Rad. Hello, buddy. Jerome, are you ignoring me? No. I'm trying to pace myself, because if I rip through these questions too fast, I will totally forget what we're even doing or I'm talking about, and I gotta take it slow. Let's see, Thomas Bailey. I saw Tesla co-headline with Leonard Skinner at Walnut Creek Amphitheater in Raleigh. Well, that's pretty dope. Tesla, they always put on a good show, man. Rico, Eric, my thumbnail is Satchel's signature guitar, and I love it. Well, very cool. I wonder how many of those guitars are out there. I need to have like some kind of signature guitar myself. Ted, hey Eric, did you get the opportunity to talk with Michael Wilton from Queensryche? Phenomenal guitarist and human being. Well, I will say I agree with you on that. Queensryche, another obviously incredible band from our youth. And Michael Wilton, man, he looks great too. I mean, that dude looks exactly the same as I remember from seeing them back in the day. First time I ever saw them was on the Operation Mindcrime tour, and Warrant was opening up. The show was okay. I mean, Queensryche were one of those bands that, like, similar to Tool, where they're perfection, when they play, but they're also like not really running around like wild guys or anything, So, and I think when I was getting to be that age, like a teenager, I had my expectations for watching live shows where I like the Van Halen kind of stage show, or God, even Maiden ran around and stuff, or AC/DC. I mean, come on. When I'm at a rock show, I want to see people rocking the fuck out. You know what I mean? And no offense. I mean, their music is great. I mean, they're like the Pink Floyd of our generation of music, right? In a lot of ways. And Michael Wilton, very consistent, great, solid. I love his solos that he does. I love his guitar playing. I've been in his presence. We have the same agent, Big Time Entertainment. So I've of course been around him many times at many gigs, but I don't know, we kind of have acknowledged each other somewhat, maybe given like a hey, hey man, or a wave or something like that. I've never really tried to initiate a full-blown conversation with them. I mean, we don't really have any mutual friends that I would happen to be standing by them, and I'm not really the type of guy that just because I see somebody famous, I'm going to run up and try to chew his ear off so I could tell everybody I talked to him or something. Like I'm available, or if they kind of give a vibe like they want to, they're like acknowledge me or hang out, I'll say hey. But either way, but no, I haven't really got to hang with the guy or anything. Does he smoke herb? I'll smoke a doobie with him. Angry Otter reacts. Howdy. Oh wait, howdy all you crazy kids. Howdy to all you crazy kids. Just popping in to hit that thumbs up button. Well, we are so happy that you popped in to do that. Jerome, I get ignored sometimes in live chats. That's nice that you interact with your audience. Well, I will always be super appreciative. Even if there's like 2 people show up, I could pull this off. And, I could count on like my girl Marsha to show up. Let me see here. Jeff, yo, Jackal. Jackal's like famous, man. J-Rad. Rat and Roll. Loved your show at Woodstock on August 3rd. Yeah. That was a good time. I love being part of big shows, because there's gonna be bigger venues for it and more people. You got every act on the bills bringing their audience in. I mean, there's times where it can go the other way. One of those shows we did with Bret Michaels, I remember it was not a Pearcy crowd; it was a Bret Michaels crowd, and it was really hard to get a reaction. And I remember feeling kind of deflated after we left. But that New York one was good. What was tough about those gigs with Bret was we were kind of the opener on that. It was like us and then Vince Neil and then Bret, I believe. And we didn't get a sound check and stuff like that. It was kind of, that stresses me out when I don't even know if our stuff's going to work, and if it really sounds bad up there, it could derail things. You know what I mean? I gotta be able to at least hear like a kick and a snare, you know what I mean, to like play along. So I need that at least. Thomas, they played LAB and Whiskey Hangover. Oracle album came out. Did I say that wrong? Is it LAB or Lab? Is it just called Lab? I don't know. Jackal, happy birthday. Well, thank you. Jackal is famous for being an old curmudgeon. La 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 la. Well, yeah, you're famous. Get off my lawn, J-Rad. Yeah. Where's my?
Yeah, I know that, dude.
This guy's been stoned since the 3rd grade.
Yep. What do we got here? Rico. Eric, did you write Want Too Much off Smash? I love that song. Hell yeah, I wrote that. Yeah, I might just happen to have a Smash record right here. Not that I had it on standby or anything. Just I was just cleaning up and it happened to be around. But yeah, look at that Smash vinyl going there. But yeah, there's only on here one song that had a co-writer, and that's that song I Know I'm Crazy. The first track on there was actually like a Chris Hager song. I remember, because around 2015, as I said, he was the other guitarist in the band, and we knew Stephen was going to be trying to put out some material. And so he had it, that was his song. And I remember first I had a side band too. And at first I was like, hey, Chris, let's work on a song. And I remember he gave me that song. It was the music to I Know I'm Crazy. And I tried to sing something over it. And my whole lyrical thing was totally stupid. I was, back then I was kind of trying to be an edgy, more punk, weird thing, whatever, and I was making the song about a school shooter or something ridiculous, and I thought it was okay, but I didn't know where it was gonna go. And then when the songs were getting put together for this, all of a sudden that song came up, and I remember being kind of mad at Chris. I'm like, hey man, that was supposed to be our song, for whatever. That was supposed to be the school shooter song, but it ended up being a song called I Know I'm Crazy. But I do play. I wrote all the other ones on here, and I do play all the guitars on all the songs, and all the solos and all that. And same for View to a Thrill. I wrote all those, and oh, you know what? I gotta give. There is one that I do have to give some credit to. Oh, I Can't Take It. Was co-written with Michael Raphael. I can't leave Michael out. If you know Jailhouse, he would get totally pissed, and he might take legal action. But I did put my stank all over that song. It is I Can't Take It is all my guitar work and stuff and solos I wrote and everything. Twitter Jesus, happy birthday, my friend. Play the 13A, no digital video, and all the rest of the videos you have been in. I think there might even be a video for VooDoo song that is great. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, there's a couple VooDoo songs out there. Our big local hit was Skeleton, the song Skeleton, that you can find if you put in VooDoo Skeleton. Clap. Oh, see, crying like a bitch. Got it. Hey, sometimes you need to cry like a bitch. I have trouble crying anymore. I feel like I'm all cried out in my life. I mean, now it's just like, when my eyeballs are shooting blanks. I don't know. I cried in a dream recently. I had a dream that and I was crying in my dream, and that's bad. And I woke up and I was like, oh, good. No, I'm safe. I can continue to have not cried. So that's cool, I guess. That was Chronica's Deal Horse. Who's your favorite drummer on working with Stephen Pearcy, Bloss or Deanda? Well, that is tough. They're both phenomenal drummers, and every time you start to work with one, it takes a minute for them to get it together with you, right? And so I felt like for Jimmy, he didn't have too long, to get ready to come in and fill in for Bloss. And so but in that short time last year where he was playing drums, I thought he did a really amazing job, and I think he would have continued to progress with the band. I mean, he really hits hard. Deanda hits hard like I'm kind of used to, and Blotzer's that way too. I think Bloss is a more finesse drummer and more of a showman, certainly. They're totally different people. Like a couple of interesting quick facts. Jimmy's been sober for 20 years or 24 years or something like that. But dude partied, you know what I mean? From Bullet Boys, and even before that, he was like Jimmy was one of those cool LA young good-looking drummers that could pull, that was in the right place at the right time in the scene, and he was at all those parties and raging, I'm sure, you know what I mean? And at some point, he sobered up, but and also, he's another guy who just made it on his own merits. He doesn't, come from, family that was in the music business or anything like that. However, he does have a son that's an awesome drummer too, that's out professionally playing now. Bloss, on the other hand, and this is a very admirable, I'm certainly not, poking fun at or anything, but dude has never had a drink, never had a sip of alcohol in his entire life. He's never smoked weed. He's never done a drug. None of that. And I think that's impressive. Like, how do you get? I mean, even at church, they dipped a wafer in some wine. Like, how did you do that? But he just always took his health super seriously and was always very athletic. And he's certainly on that Bloss, that super high performer level of a drummer, where he's just super professional guy, down to how he speaks to everybody, how he travels, everything. And so is Jimmy. I mean, it is a tough call. I mean, for me, if we do more solo shows, if either one of those guys shows up, I'll be happy. it was funny because I was reflecting on it, and I'm like, well, if we do something like who should play drums? I mean, these guys are doing great as the Piercy DiMartini band. You know what I mean? Is it going to be weird if they now go back and start playing in the solo band? I mean, should they be the Piercy DiMartini, and then if the name gets back to them, just become RATT and let that band be RATT, and then Stephen hopefully takes me, right? And we get some other people and do a different lineup for the solo band. But now both of those drummers have played with that Piercy DiMartini thing. So I don't know. Who knows? But either guy, I would be super, super stoked to have on there. Now, let me see here. Happy birthday. Hey, how did you meet Chris Aiken? Oh, that's a great question. I'm going to have to I'm going to pound a couple sips for that question. Hang on. I got the fireball going tonight, guys. Woo, woo, woo. Well, let me tell you, my time in the Stephen Pearcy band, there's been a lot of ups and downs in the 25 years of playing in this band. And as we know, our good buddy Stephen, sometimes he's celebrating too much, or he's just partying too much, or whatever. He's just, got too much going on in his life, and he can do a couple bad shows, here and there, or what have you. Now, I used to try back in I don't know, the 2010s perhaps, to try to point out to Steven if there's videos that could be giving us trouble on YouTube, because he does have the ability to probably get it taken down. I think he just didn't give a shit, really. But when you own your likeness and you own the rights to your music and stuff, you could exercise that. If there was somebody had a live performance of you, I'm pretty sure if you own your likeness and the copyrights on the music and everything, it wouldn't be too hard to copyright strike them. Or, I mean, you're supposed to ask them first, ask them politely to take it down. And knowing that, even though I didn't own the copyrights to these RATT songs and I didn't own Steven's likeness, I was his guitarist, and I would reach out on occasion to YouTube channels and say, hey man, I mean, it's not always that we were bad. I mean, sometimes just where they're standing sounds like shit. You know what I'm talking about, right? When they're just standing in a weird spot and they're getting all of one instrument. It's just, back then it would worry me because I wanted people to like us, you know what I mean? Of course. And if they're looking on YouTube in the early stages of YouTube and they're finding videos that suck, I mean, I'm like, hey, we should take those down. That's what most professional bands do. I mean, do you notice that it's hard to find like Rage Against the Machine sucking somewhere, or whatever, because I feel like their label is out on the hunt to make sure those videos don't pop up. They exercise whatever they have to do to get those taken down, to make sure their artist seems appealing at all times. So I was trying to be not a publicist, but I don't know, just somebody that was like a reputation defender, if I could. And getting back onto how I met Chris Aiken. So as I was going through YouTube, I think in this would have been maybe around the late 2010s, I come across this video on YouTube, and it says The Sad State of Stephen Pearcy is the name of this video, and it's from this channel called The Classic Metal Show. And I was like, these motherfuckers. I clicked on it, and I'm listening, and they're basically playing some live performance that wasn't good, and they were just laughing at it and making fun of it and all this stuff. And I remember being so pissed about it. And now this is when these guys did more of a radio type thing. So they were putting their radio show on YouTube, but not with their faces. Okay, they just had the Classic Metal Show logo, and you would just hear the show and their voices like you're listening to the radio. And so I didn't know what they looked like or anything. I mean, I thought Neely was probably some nerdy guy, and I thought Chris would just be some little dude or something. In my mind, I pictured totally different people than what they actually looked like. And I even though I might have heard about the Classic Metal Show here and there, I didn't connect the dots. I was just listening to it going, I'm going to frickin' beat the F out of these guys. I'll see him somewhere. I'm like, I'm gonna take that Neely guy and I'm gonna grab him and I'm just gonna throw him into the Chris Aiken guy and I'm just gonna beat their asses and then they're gonna know what's up. I was like seriously thinking that, that they'll show up at the NAMM show or somewhere and I'll get them. And then it was like, I would have keep an eye on these motherfuckers. And so I started listening to their show and they kind of got me with their comedy. They were like super funny. And Chris Aiken I thought was hilarious. And at some point, they went to video and I got to see him. And I think I ended up meeting him somewhere. But, if you know Chris Aiken, he's a big old dude, I mean... And Neely, he's like Dog the Bounty Hunter. Both these guys are armed to the teeth. Like, I probably would have got killed, seriously, literally killed if I tried to, like, attack them or something. So it was good that we became friends. Eventually, they invited me to interview on the Classic Metal Show. And after doing a couple of interviews that went well, this was 3 years ago. Chris wanted to do his own spin-off. He wanted to do the Chris Aiken Presents. And I was like, that's cool. It's like Alfred Hitchcock Presents. And he hit me up. I did guest host once a Classic Metal Show. I know Neely couldn't do it one night. And that was like my test run, if you will. And I did that. Then I agreed to do the Chris Aiken Presents. I was not good at it at first. Like my first year probably of doing the Chris Aiken Presents was not good. I didn't have my visuals together. I was being too loud. I was nervous. I was, you figure it out. It's just the same as when you do anything for the first time. But I, as I said many times, I'm grateful that I had the opportunity to do the Chris Aiken Presents for the last 3 years, because now that I'm doing a channel and doing hangouts and so forth, it's just made it easier, right? I seem like, hey, this guy seems like he's a legit podcaster that knows what he's doing. Well, that's because I've been doing it with Chris Aiken all this time. And, dude's become like a really close friend of mine, man, I have to say, because he's one of those people that's just straight up, it's not really, I mean, he'll be polite, you know what I mean? But it's not in his nature to lie. And, he's not a go along, get along, and neither am I. So we get along like that. Thomas Bailey's throwing the fire. I've seen a few of the shows where Stephen couldn't even sing the lyrics. It was pretty bad. Yeah, there's been some rough ones. I mean, luckily the worst shows he ever had were not with me. I'm happy to report. I mean, I think we could all agree that, like, the worst ones that I ever saw was the ones that he did with Jordan Ziff and Juan when they got the name in 2019, and those are pretty legendary. I mean, they're so bad that they're kind of funny, and Steven's like hanging on the drums all. I remember at the time, like, even though he's my friend and I love him, and it was sad. I mean, when that's like a family member, and they're obviously need help. You shouldn't laugh at him, but I was a little bitter, because I was told I was going to play in that band, and next thing you know, they gave it to somebody else. That Juan did not want to play with me, basically, at the end of the day. But I remember being a little miffed about that, being laid off back then. And when that happened, I was kind of like, what do you guys think of that? Because I had been through some of that, you know what I mean? And I mean, I'm sure these dudes thought they won the lottery, right? I'm like, yeah, you don't know what you won. Yeah, so at the time I remember kind of snickering at that, but that was probably his worst performance ever. We've had a couple bad ones. I mean, I would like to do a good M3 one time, because I feel like all those have been that we've done. Now though, the M3 guy's the guy that kicked all this off with DeMartini. He's the one that put out the big offer that put those two together. So I mean, I tell you which lineup he wants at M3. It's going to be those guys. I mean, that's fine. I mean, like I said, I'm going to be playing with the project. So if Steven does do shows and want to rock with me again, that'd be great. But I'm not depending on it. You know what I mean? But I would imagine, since we're doing this record, that he's at least going to do a limited run of shows to kind of promote it or something, I would imagine. Um, moving on here. Cajun Hog. Yeah, there's one out there worthy of the hook. Is that the Gong Show hook? Let me see. Thomas Bell. One of those dudes is a best buddy of Don Dawkin, the unfat one. Yes, the unfat one would be Neely. And yeah, he is very, 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 very close friends with Don to this day, and goes out on several shows with him and works as an assistant and one of the biggest defenders of Don. I mean, let's be honest. There's a lot of fans that will give Don a hard time, and feel that he's reaching retirement. And Neely's always defending him, and then takes a lot of crap for defending him. But they're friends, man. I mean, you got to stick up for your buddies, Yep, we got that already. Okay, a mentor of sorts. Yeah, Neely does life coaching. So he might, I don't know, is he life coaching Don though? I don't know. I think they're just kind of friends. And those guys have helped Don with other stuff. I know Chris Aiken helped Don sell one of his solo records. Like acted as a distribution center of sorts and helped put out some special edition of a record of Don's at one time. Thomas Bailey, Juan seems like a goofball. I don't know, and I don't, all those guys have been cool to me, when I've met them, even though I joke about Juan not wanting to be in his band or whatever. I think that wasn't me personally. I think it was more probably just not wanting to have Steven's guys in there. He wanted to get just some new blood probably or something like that. So I don't have any contempt towards Juan or Bobby, any of those guys. You know what I mean? They can do whatever they want and think and have whatever opinions they want. I can tell you that I've met them all at some point. They've always been totally polite to me, and I've never caught attitude or weird vibes from any of those guys, Juan included. He was very nice to me, talking gear and whatever. And he was a really amazing. Juan was an amazing performer. When you watch the RATT concerts back then, it's like, wow. I mean, we make fun of his moves and stuff, but man, he was like earning his money right on stage every night on those arena tours. Like, you never saw a show where he was burnt out or tired and wasn't doing the Wanacopter or the Scooch Pooch or whatever moves he has, right? Eric rocks the Juan vocals. Hail and kill, Kevin Smith. Well, thank you, Kevin. Yeah, here and there I can do stuff. Johnny, he had a good high range. There was a couple songs where Johnny kind of saved the day with some of his high vocals, and then it's all a mix. Cajun Hog, have you ever jammed with Jeff Pilson? No, I have not ever jammed with Jeff Pilson, but he's pretty amazing. He's been playing in Foreigner, right, for a really long time. I was watching yesterday. Did any of you guys watch the Thanksgiving parade? Any of the Thanksgiving parades? Anybody? I saw Foreigner doing the parade, and you know who was singing? Luis Maldonado, which was interesting, and not the guy that they've had from Hurricane or whatever, who's fantastic, but they had Luis, and Luis is a San Diego guy. He's a San Diego guy that was like, he's probably my age, and another dude who made it out of San Diego playing, and that's super awesome. That not only did he end up getting the gig in Foreigner, but now he's like singing. He can do the Foreigner voice. However, I think when they do these parades and stuff, it's totally canned. They can't put on a legit performance on a float going by, so it's full lip sync mode. But I would lip sync in those situations, you know what I mean? Let's say the project got a chance to do Death of Me and we were on a float and they were like, all right, boys, you just got to lip sync. Well, that's fine too. You know what I mean? I wouldn't even have to tune my guitar. I could party. No, I feel like these guys are all pretty professional. James Davis doesn't party. Dennis Hill he's retired from partying. So with these guys, I gotta kind of keep it together. Like I don't intend to all of a sudden be like, well, hey guys, and I've been that dude. Believe me, because I've been corrupted by Stephen Pearcy, if we're gonna be honest about it, and Frank Wilsey from Arcade. But those guys, really, no joke. I mean, as you guys on these Friday nights get to hear stories from me, I'll tell you that we partied and did a lot of drugs, and in those 25 years, and I lived. I lived so much. I need to have a piece of this cherry pie right now just to celebrate that I made it. But hold on here. Yeah, you name it. We tore it up. And so now I'm kind of past that. I'm really pretty professional. I'd have to say, at this particular point in my life, in my 50s, is the most professional Erik you're ever gonna frickin' get if I'm in your band. From everything from equipment to just my demeanor, being well traveled, knowing how to interact with band members for the most part. Once in a blue moon, I might get into a conflict with a band member. That happens occasionally, but usually with one I've known for 30 years or something, not with somebody I don't really know. Yeah, so let me see here. Jeff Pilson, I answered that one. Wait, did I miss a Bobby Blotzer thing here? Thomas, I saw Bobby Blotzer on drums, but he played with Great White at a club in Greenville, North Carolina. What happened? What was he? I don't remember Bobby playing in Great White. He was like in their band playing drums. Are you sure? Are you sure it wasn't somebody that looked like the Blots? Because I had never heard about him playing in any other band. I mean, he had there was that thing that they did in 1991 with the singer from Shark Island, and they had Tracy Guns was in it. What was that? The Contraband, was that what it was called? Like Contraband, that was like where I went, oh, hey, Bobby's kind of in an all-star band. And but that was super short-lived. I mean, that freaking Contraband thing didn't even survive the one tour. They were like part of that Detonator run. It was like RATT and LA Guns and the Contraband jam was supposed to happen. And this was back when RATT had Michael Schenker on guitar. Like Robin wasn't in the band anymore. I remember I knew Steven at that point, and he gave me passes to go see that. It was Charlie the Cat wants to get out of my office here. But he gave me passes. It was at the Irvine Meadows. So the RATT was starting to like go from arenas to amphitheaters at that point. I forgot where I was even going with that. Anyway, Thomas, you could just hold the guitar and pretend to play like Nikki Sixx does on stage. Yeah, I hear that a lot. I mean, I don't know what to think. Nikki Sixx to us as kids was always one of the coolest guys. And if he really did write those Motley songs, you got to give him credit for that. But I think he always was the visionary of the band with their image. And, Nicky's an iconic guy. And he was always a great interviewer, too. I remember, that made a difference. The reason why Motley was like bigger than RATT or a little more well received than RATT had to do with how cool those guys seemed. Like you wanted to party with the dudes in Motley, right? Let me see. Winter Steel, keep on rocking, Erik. Oh yeah. Thomas Billy, tart cherries are good for inflammation. Are they? Do I need to eat more cherry pie to help with my inflammation? We're getting old if we're talking about inflammation. Thomas Billy, I drove by the club and saw a tricked out, blacked out tour bus downtown, and I pulled into this restaurant behind the attic and walked right into Jack Russell. Yeah. Well, that's interesting. I mean, I've met Jack Russell before. And, I mean, the dude has an amazing voice. The Great White songs are all super awesome. I mean, yeah, I'm not going to say anything super negative about him, but he can be kind of I've seen him be a jerk before, too. But I've also seen him be nice, so I don't know. I mean, what was not nice was that fire they had where all those people died. Because man, did that f up the music scene for a long time. I have to say, I held a little resentment towards those guys. Like for 2003, did not help our cause in the rock world. Like we were already not that popular, you know, in the early 2000s. People still didn't want the hair bands. Like the 90s was still kind of a thing in the early first 2000s, and there were some bad things in the world going on. There was the DC shooter, the DC sniper. Remember that whole thing where the guy was going from not just one state but like multi-state, so nobody wanted to go out. They thought they'd be like randomly shot at a gas station. Yeah, and so then the Great White thing happened, the fire, and then nobody wanted to go to the shitty club shows either, you know. So I remember being bummed about that for some years. I want to say like around I don't know, 2008 or 9, things started to get a little better, and there was starting to be some more festivals that were taking on some of the 80s bands. Let me see, Eternal Servant. I freaking love Blotzer's dynamic drumming. He's special. He really is. Nobody really plays the RATT songs like Bob, I have to say. And I mean, if he's up to the job, I mean, it would be cool to see the actual RATT guys one last time. Let me see. Thomas Bailey. So I went to the show, and before they took the stage, they were all playing like all RATT songs. So after 3 songs, they introduced Bobby Blotzer filling in on drums. So I'm confused. Great White was playing all RATT songs, and Bobby Blotzer filled in on drums. Was this a fever dream that you had? Because I don't think this really happened, Thomas. He's dead now. Okay, well, I'm sorry to hear that. Well, is that it? Have I hit everybody's things tonight on the birthday freak off? I think so. Well, again, another fun Friday, guys. I appreciate you being there. I can't say that no one showed up for my birthday because a lot of people showed up. I saw it. At one point, we had my mouth's watering looking at this right now. Had over 60 people. 60 people come to my birthday tonight. So, thank you so much. Let me put a round of applause to you guys. And I appreciate you all. Hope you enjoyed the latest Road 2 video. Like I said, share my videos. Get them out there so we can get the party started here on this channel. And I have lots of cool stuff. I mentioned Smash. I'm going to be doing a documentary on the making of Smash. Also going to do that for View to a Thrill and for the new record that we're doing as well. I guess we'll read one last comment from Thomas tonight because he's excited tonight to be here. Okay, no, the intro tape at the club before the lights went down, it was Bobby Blotzer, not a fever dream. He filled in on the drums. Don't know why you can't understand that. Hey.
Relax. All right?
Man, I'm telling you. All right. Hail and kill, everybody. That was a great time. A great time tonight. Thank you. I love all you guys. I'm going to be here for you every Friday, and I'm going to put out some cool videos, and you're going to share them, and you're going to make me rich. No, I'm just kidding. Anyways, good night. Thank you for all the birthday wishes. I love all you guys. Have an awesome weekend coming.